Creativity for many, like myself, is a very important aspect of my life. Hobbies, crafting, creating, designing, whatever it is, it's a creative element and it's important. However, sometimes I struggle, and I know you do too, with how to stay creative or how to create beyond or do more. In this video, I'm going to give you my 10 top tips for staying creative and refreshing your creativity. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get to it. Hi, I'm Vanessa S. of By Vanessa S. and welcome to my channel. And if you've been here before, welcome back to my channel. You remember how this goes. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Ring the bell so you'll be notified of new videos as they're released. And subscribe. Being a creative is great, right? So we have a lot of ideas. And regardless of what your niche is, whether or not your hobby is writing or crocheting, sewing, knitting, painting, drawing, whatever it is, it's a creative element and it's a part of your life. But what happens when you get to a certain point where you're kind of burnt out or it's starting to feel a little bit mundane, like you're just doing the same things or the motions, you're just going in the motions, or, it's just not as fun, exhilarating, or you're not coming up with anything new. So what do you do? So number one, try something totally new. Totally new. So if you are a sewer, try something different. Try painting. If you are a sculptor, try painting or try sewing. Try something totally new. And when you try it, you don't have to go all in on it. You don't have to make this your next big creative venture. All you're wanting to do is to try something new to help to boost your creativity. That something new doesn't necessarily have to be in crafting. You could just start something new. Go to a different restaurant, visit a different museum, take a walk in a different area. Something to shift the thinking and the creative process that you currently have and put it into a different gear. Number two, buy a mystery box. It doesn't matter what kind of mystery box, just buy a mystery box. I found purchasing a mystery box helps me to elevate my creativity. And here's why. Michael's has mystery boxes at the end of seasons when they have excess of a certain season. So let's take Halloween. At the end of Halloween season, if they have an excess of Halloween merchandise, they will take these, box them up, and make them mystery boxes. So you don't know what's in them. And they're normally about $10. And so they'll have a whole bunch of stuff in it from the season when they were selling Halloween stuff. The reason why this is so interesting is because, for one, you don't know what you're going to get. And so because it's a mystery box, it's a total mystery of what's in the box. But the products that are in the box are probably not things you would have purchased. And so now, because you have all of this stuff that's in the mystery box that you didn't know about, things that you probably would not have purchased in the first place, now you're being forced, in a sense, to think creatively about something totally different. And I have found that this is one of the best ways to start my creativity or get my creativity back into gear, because I can take something out of that mystery box and totally transform it into something totally different using techniques or using supplies and materials that I've never used before, because again, it's not something I would have purchased. You can find mystery boxes anywhere. You can get mystery boxes in Etsy. You can purchase them from Michael's. I would recommend, if you have mystery boxes available at Michael's, to purchase one or two, because normally it has a bunch of stuff in it. And for $10, I can't say that everything that's in those mystery boxes I use. Some things I do donate to, a local charity or something, but a lot of it I do use. And some of the things that I actually make came from those mystery boxes. And I find it useful. And the one thing that it does is to help me to think outside the box on how to use or work with a product that I've never used or worked with before. Number 3 is try a whole new craft. Yeah, a whole new craft. I said before, so if you are an artist and you paint, try sculpting. If you are a sculptor, try sewing. But find a new craft to try. And get this, it doesn't have to be a hard craft. It could be something totally easy. And it doesn't have to be an expensive craft. It can be something totally inexpensive. So a whole new craft means that you have to learn a whole new way of doing things. And you would be surprised how learning a new craft will help you elevate the old craft. You don't have to make finding a new craft hard, because finding a new craft can be anything that you want. If you walk through your craft store, a Hobby Lobby, a Michael's, a Joann's, walk through your craft store and just see what resonates. Just see what you feel. Ooh, this looks interesting. You don't have to spend a lot of money, and you definitely don't have to choose something that's going to take a lot of time, but it's a new craft. And even though you don't want to go all in, the goal is for you to shift your thinking and shift the way you do things. There are hundreds of crafts out there that you can switch to just to learn. So I would suggest just, again, finding one. Number 4, find new ways to do old crafts. Okay, let me help you out with this one. If you crochet, you know how to crochet. And you know how to make sweaters, you know how to make hats, you know how to make socks. How about learn how to make a chair cover or an ottoman cover? Or make a bag, a handbag, or maybe you want to make something for an animal. Learn how to do something new with the old craft. Learn how to do something different with the old craft. Whatever craft it is, learn how to do something different, whether it's learning how to make something that you've never made before or learn a new technique. I know if you're a photographer, one thing I did as a photographer was learn how to use micro lenses, because that's not something I had used before. And so just learning how to use micro lenses was a way for me to do something new with an old craft. Number 5, take a break. Just take a break. Just stop altogether. Pause. Take a break. Sometimes it just takes our minds and our emotions to just release itself from it all. And I can tell you, as someone that has a lot of different hobbies and crafts, and I do a lot of different things, sometimes you just have to back off. I've had to do it before. Right at the height of the pandemic, after sewing so many masks, I sewed over 300 masks and gave them away or sold them or shipped them off somewhere. And after that, I didn't want to sew anymore. So I stopped. I didn't do anything. I stopped crafting altogether. And then when I did resurface, I started paint pouring, which was a totally new craft for me. So sometimes you just have to take a break and just listen to yourself and listen to what your mind and your emotions are telling you. Just stop. You'll know when it's time to come back. Number 6, surround yourself with creative people. It doesn't have to be people that do the same exact thing that you do. It doesn't have to be similar crafts, similar hobbies, similar professions, but just creative people. People who understand the level of creativity and how creativity flows. Surround yourself with them. It doesn't have to be physical groups, you can join online groups like Facebook groups with people who have similar or the same interests or levels of creativity that expand far beyond what you do. I have found so much inspiration in just being part of Facebook groups that are for crafters in general, because I do subscribe to groups that are specifically aligned with certain crafts, but then there are those groups that are generally stated, and you get so much energy from so many different people. And believe it or not, a lot of the crafts that I've tried is because of some of the images, the photos, and stories that I've seen in some of these groups. So join a Facebook group or find a virtual group or an in-person group with people who have a creativity level and a creativity energy that you can align yourself with. Number 7, don't be afraid to make mistakes. A lot of times as crafters, especially creatives, artists, designers, makers, a lot of times what happens is that we get so entrenched in the perfection that we forget that mistakes are creative too. You can learn from mistakes. You can grow from mistakes. Your creativity can excel from mistakes. So don't stifle that part of the process. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Mistakes can help you to continue to be creative or help you refresh the level of creativity that you are accustomed to. 8, have fun. I would suggest to anyone that sometimes you need to go back into that childlike state of being as it relates to your hobbies. Go back to when it was just something that you did because it was something that you enjoyed doing. Not because you have orders, not because you want to sell things, not because you need an extra income. Just go back to the fun of it all. Go back to when drawing was just that. Draw outside the lines. Take crayons instead of pens and pencils and do things just a little bit different. Like when you were in that childlike state, and have fun. And have fun with it. Laugh at yourself. It's okay to laugh at yourself. Laugh at yourself. Laugh at everyone else, but definitely laugh at yourself. So just have fun. Take time to just have fun. And if you can incorporate having fun while you're being creative, that's even better. But just take time to have fun. Number 9, if you find that your level of creativity is decreasing, but you're really wanting to push through it, shift what you're doing and how you're doing it. Do the same thing, just do it differently, but do it every day. Set aside time every day. So for instance, if you are a writer and you're finding yourself with writer's block, instead of writing the story that you're working on, find a different story and just write for 10 to 15 minutes a day. If you're writing a romance novel, write a sci-fi story. And it doesn't have to be a good story. You're just writing something different for 15 minutes every day, just to break yourself away from what's creating that block. So shift. And number 10, change the color. You would be surprised at how changing the color will help you to shift the mindset in your creative process. I want to show you this. So I have these pens on my desk, and notice that they're all different colors. Now, one thing about them is that they're erasable, but the other thing is that they're all different colors. And I keep a bunch of different color pens on my desk because sometimes when I'm writing and I get stuck or I get bored with something and I'm like, I don't get it. No, I don't like this. And then I'll pick up another pen with a different color and it changes my whole perspective. and it helps me to stay engaged. And so changing the color helps. I've done the same thing with crocheting and sewing. I was crocheting once and I was getting stuck on what something looked like. I didn't like it. I kept, unraveling it. I just couldn't get it. Something was just wrong. I needed to get out of my head. I got some yellow yarn that I had and started playing with the yellow yarn, and the perspective changed and my creativity level changed. And so I was able to see it clearer of what it is I wanted to do. So of course I went back to the multicolor yarn, but changing to that yellow helped me a lot to just start seeing clearer. Same thing. I've done the same thing with sewing. I've done the same thing with painting. I've done the same thing with paint pouring. You would be surprised how changing the color just so that you can get past this creative block will help you. So change the color. So that is it for me. Those are my 10 tips for staying creative or refreshing your creativity. You remember how this goes. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Ring the bell so you'll be notified of videos as they are released, and subscribe. Until next time.